So I kind of wanted to talk about this diet I was on in early, I want to say like 2012, 2011. I can't name actually like the doctor that was behind the diet just because I don't really want to get sued. But basically, it was the most unhealthy thing I have done personally, and I've done some dumb shit. I've done like the extreme fasting, I've done just like not eating like anything, just going to like just eating like one thing a day or living on mints or what, like that was my dumb days before I knew about nutrition. And honestly, in high school we didn't really learn about nutrition as much as like what I needed to know. I didn't know about calories in, calories out, protein, carbs, fats. I didn't know about that. I knew that fats were bad for you. Deep fried stuff, fast food was bad, but they didn't exactly explain why. So I kind of think if I had had more knowledge early in life, I would have applied myself better. As soon as I was done high school, I think it was Furious Pete first, and I followed him, and he taught me a lot about lifting and nutrition that I didn't ever hear about. And I was like, holy shit, like that's great. So, as of right now, I have way more knowledge than I did. But when I was on this doctor prescribed diet, I had no knowledge, and I was very successful on it because my mother was like, my family was very supportive. They changed their way of living to support me. They changed how they ate, the groceries they bought, how they cooked. They did so much for me. So thank you, Mom and Dad, and my brother, who really hated eating rabbit food for a while. But basically, as the title of this video is, it is not clickbait. I did lose like 16 pounds in 14 days. Now, anyone that's in fitness, I don't know if they would consider that extreme. I did. Basically, it was all on bullshit. I looked on the website as of recently to do some research behind this video, and he has no research, no studies, no nothing on this. So it's just a doctor saying, yeah, just eat like this. But basically, I went in. My doctor prescribed me to this other doctor who has like this whole weight loss clinic. It's not Weight Watchers. It's none of the, I know it's not very popular. And you go in, you get weighed, and he would tell you like, I only want you to eat lean meat and green leafy vegetables and egg whites. That's it. And I was kind of like, okay. And he's like, come back in 2 weeks, we'll weigh you again, and we'll reassess how we're doing. So for those 2 weeks, I only had like lettuce, chicken, and egg whites, like not really any flavors. I think I put like pepper and garlic powder, which is where I got garlic powder from. I put that shit on everything. But through the 2 weeks, the first few days I was fine. I think around the sixth or seventh day, like I started not feeling well. My stomach was upset all the time. My bowel movements were irregular. Even my urine was kind of weird. That was another thing. He also said you could drink as much Diet Coke as you wanted because there's no calories. And I was like, that sounds suspicious. But I was like, okay. And I would actually drink it to make myself feel full like I do now. But because I was so hungry and I wasn't getting carbs or really any fat, I was drinking too much to the point where I was making myself sick from the aspartame. And I do still drink it now. Obviously not to that extent. I am eating food. But yeah, I did that for 2 weeks. It was to the point I was standing up and blacking out, dizzy, passing out. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like diet ways. I would never do that again. But I went back for the 2 week weigh-in and I had lost 16 pounds. And through that I was working, we were moving actually upstairs. I had to haul up and downstairs all day. I was riding my bike at night. I was riding it in the morning. I was committed. I was going to do this. And when the weigh-in came in, he was like, "Oh, you could have done better." And that was the first, like, as someone that has been labeled morbidly obese, my doctor sent me here. It's like, okay, well, I guess we'll do better then. And my mom didn't say it at the time, but she was quite upset by that. She's like, later she told me, she was like, "You've worked so hard for this," and that's all he has to say. But we continued with the diet. After the first 2 weeks, he had like this little store within his doctor's office, which is definitely a warning flag for anyone watching that out there. And like, he's like, you can buy like these certain types of foods in this store. And I don't come from a rich family. I'm not rich. And they were really expensive. And my mom works 7 days a week still. Back then she was working 7 days a week, day and night. And my dad didn't work, my brother didn't work, I didn't work. So she was supporting everything. And it breaks my heart to think about it now. But I can't change the past. It's over. But I continued with the diet. I kept losing weight. And I got, sick. Like I had a cold. And I couldn't eat anything. My stomach was just, I was vomiting. It was horrible. And I had 1 can of Campbell's vegetable soup. Number 1. That was my favorite soup ever. Well, I only had 1. I continued with the diet. I think it was 2 weeks later. I come back in for the weigh-in. And I think I had lost like 4 pounds or something, or whatever amount of weight. This is further down the line, not immediately the next 2 weeks. And he's like, "Oh, well, what happened? You're not following the diet?" And I was like, "No, I am, but I got sick. I had like vegetable soup. It was the only thing I could eat." And he's like, "That's not an excuse," and blah, 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 blah. And that was kind of around the time where we branched away from him. And then there were situations where he would say, like, if you're going on vacation, like, it's fine to indulge. And I was like, well, I don't go on vacation, but we have Thanksgiving, so I ate consciously. I had, like, vegetables and meat. I stayed away from the stuffing. And I came back for the weigh-in, and I hadn't lost anything, and he was just like, well, what happened? And we told him, and he was like, well, you can't do that. So he was contradicting himself. He was selling his own products. He was just a very toxic person. I have since debated going back on this diet, because now I have knowledge of like the proteins, carbs, fats, calories in and out, and I feel like I could make a more mature decision. But basically, now that I have the knowledge, I realized his was kind of like, his diet was mostly like a keto, but just with no vegetables. But no vegetables, no fruit, like that's not healthy. Don't do what he did. Don't just live on that stuff. Because, just don't. Trust me. Let me just double check that I didn't have anything else to say. Oh yeah. And as I was progressing in my weight loss, and we had like Thanksgiving dinner, whatever, he made the remark that I could have been such a good client. Because up on the wall he had all these pictures of people that have lost weight, and that, oh, it's like a trophy, and he shamed me for not losing weight. He shamed me for going against the diet, which was just eating for my nutrition, which was, like, it was just carbs that I had in the fucking, you know? So if anyone tries to actually sell you something like, oh, lose weight fast, don't do it. You will regret it. I got really thin, and I look back and I looked really good, but I know I was suffering so bad. I had no energy. I was not enjoying myself. I was losing weight, but that was kind of the only good part. That was, again, a long time ago. Because it's 2019 now, and I was still in high school when that was happening. But that was like the biggest weight loss I've had. I don't remember how much it was or anything, and I am definitely different now. But I wanted to make this video to kind of say that if something sounds too good to be true, it is. It's gonna hurt you. And I would seriously not recommend doing that. Count your calories, get in your green vegetables, get your fruits, fiber, focus on those things. Don't cut things out. Start incorporating more. And that's something that I found recently, is just saying, oh, I'm going to cut everything out. Well, then what are you going to be left with? If you mostly live on crap, which, yeah, obviously, you don't get looking like this without living on crap. Like, don't just cut everything out. Just bring some in. Instead of having a big bowl of sugary cereal, try, Like the pre-made packs of oatmeal. I get those all the time with the protein in it. You're fuller for longer, and it's kind of better for your digestive tract with like oatmeal and stuff. It doesn't mean you can't have the cereal. It just means cut it back, cut it down, have less of a serving of it. Just small steps. Don't make my mistake, because it will come back to bite you in the ass. Yeah, that's kind of my rant. I wanted to make this. I have like a list of videos that I want to make. I just haven't had time. This is my only day off, and I really wanted to warn people. I don't think I can, again, release the name of the diet, but if something sounds fishy like that, like, I hope this brings to mind people that are trying to lose weight, people that have lost weight. Maybe if you have some advice, go down in the comments, let me know your stories. If you have a diet you want me to try, comment, like, please, subscribe. I'm very new at this. I'm hoping to do a lot more. I am just, again, switched up. Everything's new. Y'all know what's up. I'm gonna go. I have laundry on.